algorithm gene. What is genetic algorithm? First of all, genetic algorithm is a typical example of evolutionary algorithm or evolutionary computing. It is optimization. What is evolutionary computing? This means that we evolve from a population to a better population. We have a population of potential problem solution. Genetic algorithm is the search method used to solve the problem, and the solution of the problem are encoded into bit string in order to apply the genetic reproductions. We emulate genetic reproduction, so some operator will talk about it later. So the basics of genetic algorithms are, first of all, it emulates the biological evolution. Over time, the evolution produces better or fittest individuals. We have a population of individuals and we want to evolve from this population to better generations. So initially we create a population and then apply some alteration through reproduction in order to uh, arrive at better individuals. In fact, those individuals are solutions, new solution, better solution, have better characteristics to solve the problem. Very important concept of genetic engineering is the chromosomes, which is a part of DNA strings. This is constitute a living organism. More important is that these chromosomes consist of genes. These genes represent different traits of the individuals. Traits means attributes or notions or characteristics of individuals. This bear some features about the solution of the problem. In reproduction, in genetic engineering, genes from parents are combined into to produce genes for child. This means that we have individuals. These individuals are coded in chromosomes. Each chromosome represents individuals. Each chromosome consists of genes. In order to produce offspring or children, we combine two parents through crossover or through some alteration in order to arrive at new children, and then we keep constantly evaluating these produced children in order to keep only or select only through some selection criteria the best individual, and this is represents or imply evolution to the better generation. The most important issue in genetic engineering is how to represent the solution. How different individuals are combined is how to combine individuals, because combination reproduce children from parents. And what are the fitness functions? This is basic parameters. And then how to model the problem. Usually these chromosomes are represented by numeric or binary strings, 1, 0, 1, and so on, or 1, 2, 3, depends on the problem. We'll provide some example. The structure of each individual represent encoding of traits or features of problem solution. This means that each chromosome has some genes. These genes represent traits or features. So each solution has some features. This may be good or not good, not desirable in terms of some fitness criteria or fitness function. So we have agreed that each individual is represented by a string of characters. Gene, chromosome and population. Let us go more formally to definition of what is chromosome and what chromosome consists of. Let us say that alphabet A is an individual or chromosome. Is a string consists of genes. These genes, the chromosome I consists of genes I1, I2 up to IN, where IJ belong to set A. This is set represent, in fact, each set is a chromosome of genes. Each character in the string, each character, the gene, is called a gene. The values are that each character can have. This means that each character, the value of each character called alleles. The population now, P, is a set of individuals. This is good. Let us see some examples. If we wanted to find the optimal assignment of labor to machines, this problem is assignment of labor to machines. We have machine 1, 2, 3 up to 5 machines. We have 8 workers. We want to assign these workers. We assume to operate these machines. Assume that each worker has different costs when operating this machine, requires some salary, different salary, as example. Now, one representation of solution of assignment worker to machines is this one, 6. This means that the labor number 6 will operate the machine number 1 because it is in the position of first position, and second and 8 labor will operate the machine number 2, and the labor number 2 will operate the third machine, and so on. This is some kind of how problems are encoded in genetic algorithm. This is very crucial step, is to represent the solution of the problem, where here is the problem is the optimal assignment of labor to machines. This is some kind of representation. So keep in mind that each individual, each solution of the problem is represented as a bit string. What about how to reproduce, how to evolve? This is reproduction is a basic mechanism of evolving into better generations from the initial generated population. We have two means for reproduction: crossover and mutation. Crossover make combination between two individuals in order to obtain offspring or children, while mutation is alteration of some bits by some probability. So the crossover operators, we switch or interchange subsequences of strings at some crossover points. We may have some single or multiple crossover. Let us see some example. Here we have this bit string. We have crossover point here at the middle, single crossover point. This is bit string 0000, 60 and 6 ones, and we want to make crossover. One way is to interchange this one of them is this 000 this way. So we have interchanged these subsections of genes in order to create new offsprings. So these two parents have created two offsprings through crossover. This is called single crossover, but we may have found multiple crossover point is called multiple crossover. Fitness function: how to evolve without knowing the best or the better individuals. This is through fitness function. Each solution have some fitness, have some goodness, have some evaluation, assessment of how how desirable this solution. So in genetic engineering, genetic algorithm emulates also this issue through keeping only the strong, this concept, the strong survive. Fitness function evaluates individuals in the population, and the fitness function indicate how the goodness objective is being met by each individual. This is important. How to select then through then we have each individual calculate the fitness function, and then we compute the probability of selection using some very well-known mechanism called roulette wheel. Here we have this equation, very simple equation used for roulette wheel selection. We compute the fitness of each individual, and then the fitnesses, sum of fitness of each individual belonging to the population, where Ij is an individual belonging to the population generated. And then through this probability, this probability constitute the chance that this solution will continue in subsequent generations in the genetic algorithm run. So we have population P, we have fitness function. This function mapped from P to real values gives real value, represents the probability. This is the simplest selection process called roulette wheel. Roulette wheel, very famous. So the probability of selecting individuals is calculated using this equation. Very simple. The computational model of genetic algorithm. How genetic algorithm compute? First of all, it consists of 5 basic processes. Generating initial population, we generate population randomly. Each chromosome is all chromosomes or all individuals are created randomly. We start with this population and then evaluate the fitness of populations individual. And through crossover technique and implementation algorithm, we mix reproduction of children or offsprings from parents. And finally, we make selection. And then we repeat the process until we arrive at some threshold. This threshold is specified by the decision analyst to stop as a stop criteria to the genetic algorithm run. The flowchart indicate very well illustrate the operation of the algorithm. First, we generate the initial population. We apply fitness evaluation for all links. We check if the conversion criteria met. If not, we go through selection, then crossover, and through mutation. This represents genetic operators. Selection is done simply by the roulette wheel selection or any other criteria to select individual to proceed to the next generation. The generation means that we evolve from the initial population to some generation. Maybe this generation may be 100, depends on the conversion criteria. This conversion criteria use threshold to stop. If we arrive at convergence or met the threshold criteria, we give finally the genetic output, which is the best solution with the best fitness in the last generation of the implementation of genetic algorithm. Very good reference to go deeply in genetic algorithm are these two references. Introduction to Genetic Algorithm by Steven Dam and also Margaret Dunham, Data Mining Introductory and Advanced Topic. Thank you very much.